Alrighty, Jackson. So, apologies for the delay in this video, but just wanted to get this over to you, obviously, before our lesson this evening. Just kind of showing you your difference in mechanics between you and then the guy who we watched the video of last week. His name is Max Scherzer. We're going to compare your mechanics to his mechanics real quick. I'm going to play them simultaneously, and then what we're going to do is we are going to talk about both of them, show the differences, and then talk about kind of what our game plan is and really what we're going to be talking about over the next few lessons. So without further ado, I'm going to play both of these together. Okay, so a couple big differences, right? So let's first of all talk about a couple things that we talked about last lesson, right? So the very first thing is we talked about this front foot, right? If we take a look how Scherzer comes up, right, we notice whenever Scherzer comes up, it's straight up versus what we were doing before is that we were almost coming up and back, right, which causes us and our whole weight to be going back instead of what we should be doing if we see what Scherzer does. If I were to draw a line right here on Scherzer, you're going to notice that he doesn't go back. He either stays up or immediately starts going to home plate, right? And if I were to draw a line to the center of you, Jackson, as you'll see, you start to kind of go back, right? You go back in your stance and then go forward, right? Versus what we want to do is we want to use what we are trying to build up with our load and our setup to then go towards home plate, right? So that's our goal in terms of what we're trying to do, okay? So that's the very first thing, okay? Secondly, I want to go into this right here, right? Take a look at your head right here versus Scherzer's. And I want you to tell me the difference real quick that you see. If you take a look, if we were looking at eye level, right, actually that's probably not the best line there, but if I were to put an eye level on where Scherzer is, he's looking directly at home plate versus immediately we're looking either down at the ground or at me, right? Here's the reason we don't want to do that. The reason we don't is because we want to keep track of our target early and continue through our entire delivery, right? Because think about it. If I put my head down and I'm trying to refine my target, it's a lot harder versus if I was focused in originally on the target, right? So that's just a little thing too. One thing that you do really, really well is you do a really great job of balancing your body out, right? A lot of athletes, when they first start out with pitching, they're either back or they're forward versus you do a really good job, Jackson. If I were to draw a straight line down, you are straight on. And same thing if I were to do Scherzer right here, straight 90-degree angle down. So that's a really great thing that both of y'all do. Then when we go into this right here, this is really good, Jackson, that I like. You get here. The only thing that I would like to change is this back foot. I want you to take a look at your back foot and when Scherzer's right here, right? Scherzer is connected still to the ground, right? And I remember that we were talking about this a little bit. What we don't want to do is we don't immediately want to bring our foot up, right? Because what causes this is we want to lift our foot up after we release, right? And take a look. So Scherzer is about to release and he brings his foot up, right? Because that's when we transition all of our weight, right? And you do a great job here of this back foot coming over top of our knee versus a lot of athletes, what they'll do is they'll come around like this, right? So you do a great job of that. Likewise, take a look at Scherzer's glove right here. Take a look at your glove. The opposite, though, is to be said with that, right? Your glove you throw around here. Scherzer immediately takes it into his chest, right? He immediately tucks and brings it into his chest, right? And that is something that we'll work on in these upcoming lessons is really kind of our finish and getting from our load to our block position to our throwing position, right? So we'll work on that over the course of these next few lessons and really talk about what we need to do going forward. But so far, Jackson, I think we have a really great base of what we need to do. Another thing real quick is take a look at Scherzer right here and take a look at yours, right? Your release point is a little bit higher, right? So I think we could bring this chest just a little bit more down to this angle more so, kind of like how Scherzer does. But outside of that, Jackson, you're doing great so far. We'll continue to talk about it going forward in our lessons. But otherwise, man, keep grinding and keep doing great things.